Welcome to Brain Snacks, bite-sized learning moments from We Are Human Leaders. In today's Brain Snack, author and expert on paradox thinking, Wendy Smith, shares with Alexis and Sally the dangers of either-or thinking and how this can keep us stuck, both personally and professionally. Wendy gives us language around what paradox thinking is and shares her 2 key strategies to use paradox thinking to open our minds more broadly. For more, check out the full conversation, Paradox Thinking, the ultimate leadership hack in times of uncertainty with Wendy Smith, at the link in our show notes. For now, enjoy. The antithesis of both and thinking is either or thinking.
Yeah.
What do we stand to lose when we get stuck in that style of thinking?
We like to say that either or is limited at best.
Yeah.
It's really detrimental at worst. And what we find, we find sort of 3 patterns of why it's problematic. The first is that because we like to be consistent, we pick an approach and then we call it going down the rabbit hole. We just get stuck in that approach and can't see something alternative. So we were talking earlier about one of the examples we use in the book is Lego.
Lego, yeah.
Right. And we see this all the time with companies. Companies pick an approach and it's very hard for them to change. So Lego had this approach to the interlocking brick. All these companies were moving into all these, and they said, no. This is the way we do things. We're going to stick with it. That's the way. And so we get stuck. It's true in our careers too. We pick a career, we pick it, and then we, surround ourselves with other people who are similar to us, that we get stuck in our own expertise. It's hard for us to shift and change. And then when we do shift, the second pattern is that we swing all the way in the opposite direction. So we call that the wrecking ball because, you let go of the baby with the bathwater. You lose the good with the bad. So we were talking about this in terms of politics. You see these massive shifts between more progressive liberal politics to more conservative politics. And we wipe out the good along the way rather than thinking in the, how can we bring these together? Or we see this with Lego. You shift all the way into being so super innovative. And it turns out actually with Lego, they almost hit the brink of bankruptcy because they were so innovative that they didn't have any discipline left.
Yeah. Right.
And then actually, and the worst, and we're definitely seeing this today in our world, is that as people get more and more fearful and they pick a position, they will double down and resist the opposite position. We get into these fighting, polarizing worlds. And we talk about that as trench warfare because you can imagine you pick a position, you sort of dig your trench, you surround yourself by people who agree with you. And you shoot out at the other side in a very dehumanizing way. You don't even listen or engage because it's so hard to hear people that are different than us share their positions. And if I were to wish anything on the world, it's that we could be able to have the confidence to listen to people that are different than us without being threatened. We don't have to agree with them, but just treat them with respect and dignity and be open to that engagement. I think we would have a much more productive.
I'm so glad we went there, Wendy, because I think it's so important for us to understand what we stand to lose and the sort of to motivate us all to kind of perhaps when it is uncomfortable or when it is perhaps inconvenient because we want a decision now to take that time to hold space for exploring the paradox and, and the intersectionality, the way that these things can actually grow of their own volition and kind of give rise to so many other possibilities as well. And I feel like we could talk to you for days. But we will just ask one final question for our listeners today to understand if they're thinking right now, this sounds so amazing. I want to bring this into my leadership right now. What would be a helpful starting point to start to explore and both thinking?
Typically, and indeed, I will reinforce that the number one space that I see is noticing the or and changing the question to the and. In the times that we're living through right now, I would also invite a second piece, which is be open to hearing and talking with people that are different than you. That doesn't mean you have to agree with them, but be open to the conversation and see what that feels like, because it's so hard to do. And yet it's so important for us to lead to more complex thinking and more possibility in a world that feels very fractured.
We hope you enjoyed this brain snack from We Are Human Leaders with Alexis and Sally. To learn more about this topic, check out the full conversation at the link in our show notes. And to learn more about human leaders, find us at www.wearehumanleaders.com.